It was a quiet night in the mountains of Colorado, the kind of silence where even the trees seemed to hold their breath. Ethan Cole sat on the porch of his small wooden cabin, a cup of coffee warming his hands. The stars stretched endlessly above him, bright and cold. He loved this peace. Away from the noise of cities, away from people. Ethan worked as a mechanical engineer. He had once built machines for deep space exploration, but now he preferred fixing simple things: broken radios, generators, and old farm tools. His life had become slow but peaceful, until that night. At first he thought it was a meteor. A streak of silver fire ripped across the sky, leaving a glowing trail. But the light didn't fade like normal meteors. It grew brighter, then changed direction. The object slowed down, spiraling, shaking the air with a deep humming sound. Ethan stood up, coffee forgotten. "That's not a rock," he whispered. The light shot across the valley and crashed into the forest not far from his cabin. The ground shook slightly. A flash of blue spread through the trees, then silence again. His heart pounded. He should call someone, maybe the authorities. But curiosity, that old scientist's instinct, pulled him forward. He grabbed his flashlight and jacket, then started down the trail toward the glow. The forest smelled of burnt pine and metal. Smoke drifted through the cool night air. When Ethan reached the clearing, he stopped dead. A small craft lay half buried in the earth. It wasn't like anything he had ever seen. Sleek, almost alive-looking, shaped like a teardrop. Soft light pulsed from the cracks in its surface, blue and silver. Then he saw her. She was lying near the ship, motionless, half covered in dust. Her skin shimmered faintly, almost translucent, like moonlight on water. Her hair was pale silver, and her clothes, if they were clothes, looked like woven light. For a long moment, Ethan could only stare. Then instinct took over. He rushed forward, kneeling beside her. She was breathing, but faintly. Her pulse, strange but steady. Hey, can you hear me?" he said softly. No answer. He looked around, no one else. He couldn't just leave her there. Carefully, he lifted her, surprised by how light she was, and carried her back to his cabin. Inside, he laid her on the couch and covered her with a blanket. Her skin was cool to the touch. Up close, she looked human, but not quite. Her eyes were closed, but her face was peaceful, almost too perfect. Ethan checked her breathing again. She seemed stable. He sat nearby, unsure what to do next. "Who are you?" he murmured. The answer came hours later. A faint voice echoed in his mind before he even realized she had woken. "Ethan Cole." He froze. "What? How do you—" Her eyes opened. They were bright, almost white with a hint of gold. She looked straight at him, calm and sure. "I found you," she whispered. Ethan stepped back, confusion filling his mind. You can speak English?" She blinked slowly. "I speak through thought. You hear me because I wish you to." Ethan swallowed hard. "Who are you?" "I am Lyra," she said in that same calm tone. "And you?" "Belong to me." For a few seconds, Ethan thought he misheard. "Belong to you? What are you talking about?" Lyra sat up weakly, her glowing hair falling over her shoulders. "You are not from this place, Ethan, not fully." He frowned. "I was born right here in Colorado. I've lived here my whole life." She tilted her head. "Your body, yes. But your essence, your origin, comes from my world." He tried to laugh it off. "You've got the wrong person. I'm just an engineer, not some alien prince or whatever you think I am." Lyra didn't smile. Instead, she lifted a small device from around her neck. It glowed and projected a 3D image into the air. A planet with twin moons surrounded by swirling blue clouds. "This is Oralis," she said softly. "My home. And once it was yours too." The room filled with the faint hum of the projection. Ethan's eyes widened. The planet looked so real, so alive. "But this couldn't be happening. I don't understand," he said. "Why me? Why now?" Lyra looked at him with a mixture of sadness and relief. "Because I have searched across galaxies for your signal. You disappeared from us long ago, before Earth even had its first machines. I thought you were gone forever." Her words made no sense, but her voice carried a strange familiarity, like an echo from a forgotten dream. Ethan shook his head. "You're making a mistake. I've never been anywhere near space." Lyra's expression softened. "Your world hides what it cannot explain. You carry within you what my people call the Aurelian mark. It was buried in your bloodline. And when you fixed your first radio as a child, the signal reached me." He blinked. "You heard. A radio signal? She nodded. It called to me. The pattern was ancient hours. It led me here. Ethan felt dizzy. This was too much. Okay, let's say you're telling the truth. Why say I belong to you? That sounds wrong. Lyra lowered her eyes. Not as possession, Ethan, as connection. You were my partner once, long ago. We built worlds together. But you chose to stay on Earth to start something new. When you vanished, I followed your trace. Her words made his heart race. He wanted to deny it, but a strange ache stirred deep inside him, like a memory trying to surface. He could almost see it. Twin moons, silver oceans, her hand reaching for his across a bridge of light. Suddenly, the ground trembled. The coffee cup on the table rattled. A faint humming filled the air, the same sound he'd heard before the crash. Lyra's eyes widened. They found me. Ethan looked out the window. In the distance, strange lights flickered through the trees, bright white beams sweeping across the forest like searching eyes. Who found you? He asked. Lyra stood up unsteadily. Hunters. They followed my trail through space. They will destroy anything that hides me. Ethan grabbed his flashlight again. We need to move then. She shook her head. If they see you with me, they will take you too. He frowned. Why? I didn't do anything. Lyra stepped closer, her glowing eyes locking with his. Because your DNA is not entirely human. They will see what you truly are. They will see us. Before Ethan could respond, the hum grew louder, closer. The window shook. In the sky, faint dark shapes moved between the clouds. Lyra grabbed his hand suddenly, her touch warm and electric. Ethan, listen to me. If they capture us, they will erase everything. Your memories, your life here. You must trust me. Trust you? I don't even know what's happening, he shouted. You will, she whispered. But not if we stay. She pulled him toward the door, her movement swift despite her injuries. Outside, the wind howled as bright lights swept across the trees. Ethan's heart pounded. This was real, too real. They ran down the trail, leaves crunching underfoot. The night sky lit up with strange aircraft. Silent, triangular, moving like predators. Ethan turned to look back at his cabin. For a brief moment he saw it framed in light. Then a beam struck it and it exploded into fire. He stumbled, shocked. My home, Lyra squeezed his hand. I'm sorry, but you are more than that home, Ethan. You are something greater. They kept running until they reached a rocky ridge overlooking the valley. Below them, the forest glowed with searchlights. Above, the stars looked sharp and endless. Lyra stopped, breathing hard. We can't outrun them forever. But if I can reach my ship again, I can hide our signal. Ethan nodded, trying to catch his breath. Then let's go. She looked at him, eyes soft but firm. If we do this, there's no turning back. Once you step into that ship, the truth will follow you. He hesitated. What truth? Lyra stepped closer, her voice barely a whisper. That you were never just human. You were one of us, before you chose to forget. The wind blew cold around them. Ethan stared into her glowing eyes, torn between disbelief and something deeper, an unshakable feeling that somewhere, somehow, she was telling the truth. The forest below was alive with light. Ethan crouched behind a boulder, heart pounding. Lyra held his hand, her grip firm but gentle. The hunters, shapes of shadow and steel, moved silently through the trees, scanning every inch of the forest with beams that cut like knives. Ethan's mind raced. What are they? Why are they after you? Lyra's eyes glowed faintly in the darkness. They are a rogue faction of my own people. The Aurelians. They believe hybrids, humans with Aurelian DNA, are a threat. They want to erase anything that connects our worlds. Ethan swallowed hard. So that's me? A threat? Lyra shook her head. No, you are unique. That is why I found you. You were meant to survive, to remember, and to choose your path. He wanted to ask more questions, but there was no time. The hunters were close. A low hum vibrated in the ground as one of their craft swept past overhead. Ethan and Lyra ran along the ridge, jumping over fallen trees, pushing through thick brush. Eventually, they reached a narrow canyon. A small clearing lay beyond, and at its center, Lyra's ship sat partially hidden by rocks. Its silver hull was scratched from the crash, lights flickering weakly. Ethan stopped for a moment, staring at it. That's your ship? Lyra nodded. It can take us far, but it's damaged. I can repair it, but I need your help. Ethan frowned. My help? I barely know how to fix a generator, let alone alien technology. Lyra smiled faintly. You are human, Ethan. That is enough. Humans have a way of seeing solutions others cannot. Trust me. They moved closer, but the hunters were already surrounding the canyon. The beams of light swept closer, searching. Ethan's stomach twisted. What do we do? Lyra grabbed a small device from her belt and pressed it. A dome of light expanded around them, bending the hunter's vision. This will hide us for now, she said. But it won't last long. We must reach the ship. Ethan ran beside her, every step a mixture of fear and wonder. He had always dreamed of space, of exploring the unknown. But never like this, running for his life. Holding the hand of a being not entirely human, yet deeply familiar. When they reached the ship, Lyra gestured to a panel on the side. I can repair it partially, but I need your hands inside to complete the circuits. They respond to organic touch. Yours specifically. Ethan hesitated. Why me? Because you carry the Aurelian mark, she said softly. Without it, the ship will not recognize you. Only someone like you can power it enough to escape. Reluctantly, he reached into the panel. The metal felt cold, smooth, and almost alive under his fingers. Lights flickered and then glowed steadily as he touched the circuits. A warmth spread through his hands as if the ship itself acknowledged him. Lyra's eyes shone. It recognizes you. Now we can move, but only for a short time. As the engines hummed to life, Ethan finally allowed himself to breathe. I don't understand any of this. Why me? Why Earth? Why now? Lyra floated beside him, her hair shimmering in the dim light. Thousands of years ago, my people seeded your planet with life. Humans are part of our experiment, but most of our markers were lost. You are one of the few who still carry it, waiting to awaken. Ethan's head spun. Wait, you mean I'm not entirely human? She nodded. Not entirely, but that is your strength, not your weakness. Your choices, your courage, your hope. They make you more than any of us. You have the potential to change what happens next. He tried to laugh, but it was hollow. So I'm some kind of hybrid? That's supposed to make me special? Lyra's voice softened. Special, yes. But more importantly, alive and free. You were hidden for a reason, and now you must decide what to do with this life. Suddenly, a warning light flashed inside the ship. Hunters approaching from above, Lyra said, her voice tense. The sky outside was streaked with dark silhouettes moving faster than anything Ethan had ever seen. He gripped the edge of the console. Can we outrun them? Lyra shook her head. Not in our current state, but I have a plan. She pulled a small device from the ship's control panel. This is a memory crystal. It contains fragments of your past, memories from before you were born on Earth. If you accept them, you will understand everything. Ethan looked at it warily. Memories from before I existed? Yes, Lyra said. Your mind remembers more than your life on Earth. Touch it. Hesitantly, Ethan placed his hands on the crystal. A sudden rush of images filled his mind. He saw silver oceans under twin moons, cities built from light, ships flying between stars, and then, himself standing beside Lyra, laughing, reaching for her hand. Emotions he didn't understand surged through him. Love, courage, loss, hope, all at once, he gasped. I remember this, but it's impossible. Lyra's voice was gentle. It is real, Ethan. You chose Earth because you wanted to grow as a human. You wanted to protect this world, to make it yours. But now the past and present meet again. You must decide where you belong. Ethan's mind spun. And if I refuse? If I stay human? Lyra's eyes softened. Then I will stay with you. But you must be brave. The hunters will not stop. Outside, the first hunter craft appeared above the ridge. It moved silently, scanning the valley. Ethan felt a surge of fear. We're trapped, he shouted. Lyra reached for his hand again. No, we are not. You are human. You adapt. You survive. Show them what Earthlings can do. Ethan swallowed hard. Then he acted. He activated a system on the ship that glowed faintly when he touched it. The ship hummed, and a sudden wave of energy shot outward. The hunter craft froze, its sensors confused. Lights flickered and shifted. Ethan's heart raced as he realized he was controlling it. Lyra smiled. Yes, your human mind. It thinks differently, faster, unpredictable. They cannot read you. Ethan laughed, breathless with relief and disbelief. I'm doing it? Yes, Lyra said softly. You are extraordinary. For the next hour, they navigated the dense forest, dodging drones and hunter craft. Ethan felt an exhilaration he had never known. Every twist, every narrow escape made him more aware of his human instincts, his intuition, and his courage. Finally, they reached a small cliff overlooking the valley. Lyra paused, looking down. We cannot outrun them forever. But from here we can reach a safe zone. The ship will take us to the orbiting relay. Then we can hide among the stars. Ethan nodded. And then Lyra said, you will choose. Return to Earth fully human, or remember who you are and step into the stars. Ethan felt the weight of her words. The stars above glimmered, endless and inviting, yet Earth below was his home, his life, his memories. The choice seemed impossible. Lyra's hand found his again. No matter what you choose, you are remarkable. Humans, they survive, adapt, and hope. That is why I followed you. Across galaxies, through time. You belong to more than one world, Ethan. But only you can decide which one now. Suddenly, a beam of light shot from below. A hunter craft had discovered them. The cliff shook as it fired. Lyra pulled Ethan into the ship. Hold on! Engines roared. The ship lifted, wobbling, barely holding together. The valley fell away, lights shrinking beneath them. Ethan gripped the console, heart racing, mind alive with the rush of fear and power. For the first time in his life, he realized the truth. He was not just human, but something more. Something extraordinary. And that realization gave him strength, courage, and a flicker of hope he had never known. Part 2 ends with: the hunters swarmed below, but Ethan and Lyra rose above the clouds. The stars stretched endlessly before them. Ethan looked at Lyra, breathless, feeling both fear and wonder. Lyra whispered softly, "You remember now. The universe is yours to choose, but first, survive." The ship lurched forward, and Ethan gripped the console, ready to step into the unknown, into the truth of who he really was. Ethan's hands shook as he gripped the controls. The stars stretched endlessly before him, a vast sea of light and dark promising both freedom and danger. The ship shuddered beneath him, struggling against the pull of gravity and the weight of the damaged engines. Lyra floated beside him, calm but tense, her glowing eyes scanning the skies for the hunter crafts below. "They are faster than we are," she said softly, almost to herself. "They will catch us if we do not think differently." Ethan swallowed, trying to steady his racing heart. "Then we think differently," he said aloud. "We survive, right?" Lyra nodded, a faint smile on her lips. "Yes, that is human strength. You survive when others would give up." He felt a rush of pride, strange and new. For the first time, he realized that being human meant something more than just surviving. It meant hope, courage, and the ability to make choices even when the odds were impossible. Below them, the hunter crafts moved like dark predators, sleek and silent. Their sensors glowed red, scanning for any trace of the ship. Ethan realized that if he relied solely on the ship's speed, they would be trapped. But there was another way, a human way, to escape. "Lyra," he said, pointing to the stars above, "we can't outrun them through speed. But we can confuse them, split their formation, make them follow shadows and false signals." Her eyes widened. "Yes, the ship will respond to your thinking. You can create patterns they cannot predict." Ethan nodded, taking a deep breath. He concentrated on the ship's energy, feeling it hum under his hands. Slowly, he guided the ship in erratic patterns, weaving in and out of star fields, over asteroid belts, and through drifting clouds of cosmic dust. The hunter crafts followed, but their movements became clumsy, unable to anticipate Ethan's human unpredictability. "This is incredible," Lyra whispered, watching him. "Humans think differently in ways machines cannot." Ethan smiled, a mixture of fear and exhilaration. "I told you! Humans survive." After what felt like hours but could only have been minutes, the hunters fell behind. Ethan and Lyra found a quiet orbit around a distant moon, its surface glowing faintly beneath them. The ship's engines stuttered and died, leaving them suspended in silence. Ethan sank back in his seat, exhausted. "We made it," he said. Lyra floated closer, her hand brushing his arm. "Yes, but now comes the hardest part. You must choose, Ethan. Return to Earth, live as a human, and let this memory fade. Or remember your true self, step fully into the stars, and embrace your Aurelian legacy." Ethan stared at the stars. He thought of Earth, his cabin, the mountains, the quiet nights, the life he had built. And he thought of the images from the memory crystal. Silver oceans, twin moons, and Lyra reaching for him across the light. The choice seemed impossible. Lyra's voice was gentle. Whatever you choose, know this. Being human does not make you small. It makes you strong. It gives you courage, hope, and the power to change worlds. Ethan closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. He remembered all the struggles of his life, learning, working, building, surviving. And he realized that those struggles, small as they seemed, had prepared him for this moment. Humans had a strange power, the ability to hope, to adapt, to rise when nothing else could. He opened his eyes and looked at Lyra. I want to protect both worlds. I don't want to leave Earth, but I also don't want to ignore who I am. Lyra smiled, her glow brightening slightly. Then we do both. We will find a way to keep you human, but also embrace your legacy. You can be a bridge between worlds. Ethan's heart lifted. The thought was terrifying but thrilling. He had always wondered if humans were small in the universe, insignificant. Now he realized that humans were extraordinary, not because of power or technology, but because of heart, courage, and the ability to make choices when it mattered most. But their moment of peace did not last. A sudden vibration shook the ship. Ethan looked out the viewport. A massive hunter craft emerged from behind the moon, its size far larger than any they had seen. Its red sensors locked onto them, scanning the ship with deadly precision. "They've found us," Lyra said, her voice calm but firm. "They will not stop until we are gone." "You must act, Ethan," Ethan swallowed. I think I can." He concentrated, placing his hands on the ship's console. Slowly, he sent pulses of energy outward, creating illusions of ships, lights, and patterns that confused the hunters. The massive craft fired its weapons, but every shot missed, hitting empty space. Ethan guided the ship in daring maneuvers, weaving through craters and asteroid fields. Lyra watched in awe. "You are extraordinary, Ethan. No Aurelian could have done this." Ethan smiled, feeling a surge of pride. Humans could be unpredictable, clever, and brave in ways no one expected. This was his strength. As the hunters faltered, a signal appeared on the ship's screen, an Aurelian council fleet responding to Lyra's call. The rogue hunters were outnumbered, and their ships retreated into the darkness. Silence returned, broken only by the faint hum of the damaged engines. Lyra floated toward Ethan. "You did it. You survived. You proved what humans are capable of." Ethan exhaled, exhausted but elated. "I guess humans are more than they seem," she nodded. "Yes, courage, hope, love. These are the gifts of your kind. That is why I came for you across galaxies, across time. That is why you matter." Ethan looked at her, a strange warmth in his chest. "And you belong to me?" Lyra smiled, softly touching his hand. "No, Ethan, you belong to yourself. But I will always walk beside you." The ship floated silently in orbit, stars stretching endlessly in all directions. Ethan and Lyra had survived the hunters, but the universe was still vast, full of unknown dangers. And yet, for the first time, Ethan felt a quiet power inside him, a human power born of courage, choice, and hope. Lyra turned toward the ship's console. "There is work to do. We must repair the ship fully, reach Earth safely, and prepare for the future together." Ethan nodded. Together. For hours, they worked side by side, repairing systems, calibrating sensors, and planning their next steps. Ethan learned quickly, guided by his human intuition and Lyra's knowledge. The ship responded to him, its circuits humming under his touch. He felt a strange connection, not just to the machine but to the stars, to Lyra, and to his own inner strength. Days passed. The hunters had vanished, but the memory of danger remained. Ethan and Lyra reached a small relay station orbiting a distant planet. Here they could hide, gather resources, and prepare for the next challenge. Ethan looked at Lyra. "Do you think humans really matter in the universe?" Lyra's eyes glowed softly. "Humans matter because they can choose. They can love, hope, survive, and rise. They are fragile, yes, but that fragility makes them strong. You are living proof." Ethan felt a deep pride. He had always thought of humans as small, insignificant. Now he understood that what made them human, heart, courage, hope, was exactly what made them extraordinary. He looked at the stars again. "Then I choose to be human, to protect Earth, but also to remember who I am. To be both." Lyra's smile lit up the cabin. "Then we will be bridges between worlds, together." Ethan leaned back, watching the stars stretch endlessly before them. Fear and uncertainty remained, but so did hope. And in that hope, he found a strength unlike anything he had known, a human strength born of courage, choice, and love. Epilogue. Years later, Earth had changed in small ways. No one knew of the night an alien ship hovered in the skies, or of the engineer who had touched the stars. But Ethan carried that knowledge within him, a secret power and understanding. He looked at the night sky from his rebuilt cabin, his fingers brushing a small device that hummed faintly, a gift from Lyra, a reminder that humans could survive, adapt, and rise even against impossible odds. Lyra's voice echoed in his mind, soft and warm. "You are human, extraordinary, remember that." Ethan smiled. "I will." Above him the stars glimmered. Humans were small in the universe, yes, but their courage, their heart, and their hope made them unstoppable. And somewhere in the distance, Lyra watched, proud and silent, as the human she had searched for proved what all humans could be.